Hello guys, Brad here again with another fragrance review. Today I want to look at another fragrance from the house of Zegna. This is also in my discovery kit, the very last one that came with the kit that I'm reviewing today, and it is called Indonesian Oud. And I intentionally saved this one for last, knowing that it would be probably the most difficult one to review and to appreciate as well, and most suitable for the cooler weather like we are having today. It came out in 2012. Classified as an oriental woody fragrance, and includes notes of oud, Calabrian bergamot, patchouli, amber, and rose. So right off the bat, with this one, you do get a strong, very noticeable dose of that oud. And if you're familiar with oud, you do know that it's not the most user-friendly fragrance known in the world. Now, whenever I smell oud, it takes me a little while to get used to it. First time you smell it, it really just kind of makes your head kind of snap back a little bit. But as you wear it over time, you kind of get used to it, and you start to appreciate it more and more. And that is definitely the case with this one. It was also the case with Christian Dior's Leather Oud. That same effect happened there as well. It's kind of like, I think, like drinking or smoking. The first time you try it, you're like, ah. And then after you try it a few more times, you're like, hey, I'm starting to like this, and become addicted to it almost. I'm not a smoker, but I kind of think that there would be a connection between the two in terms of how it takes time to appreciate it and get into it. Same with oud. Right off the bat, you do get that stinky barnyard effect, very similar to going into a barn. You smell the horse manure, the horse skin, the bales of hay, and bales of straw, that kind of thing. Like the interior of the barn, that kind of effect there. And that kind of stays with the fragrance. It does seem to tone down over time and maybe sweetens up a little bit, maybe because of the amber notes. Now, it does mention rose here. Fortunately, I don't really get a lot of the rose here. I would never really even notice that rose is here. I do know that Montel has a tendency to combine rose and oud and fragrances quite a bit. And that one, that house, it did become obvious that they were combining the two, because I remember one time I was wearing steam oud by the house of Montel. The lady at work told me I smelled like an old lady putting my makeup in an old house, and that was kind of the effect I got with that. But this one, pretty much straight up barnyard oud. Maybe a little bit of sweetness there in the base. Not really getting patchouli or bergamot or rose here. Mostly oud and maybe a touch of the amber in the base. So if you're a fan of oud, check it out and see what you think. If you're not a fan of oud, this one probably won't change your mind on how disgusting it can be to some people. Me, I think it smells nice on occasion, especially during this time of year, like November, like around the Thanksgiving and the Christmas time, especially if you're outdoors. I think you really enjoy this fragrance more when you're outdoors, like raking leaves, going trick-or-treating, things like that. When you're inside of a office setting, especially if it's a little bit warm, it can be a little bit cloying and off-putting. But I would say probably most people wouldn't need a full bottle. This one, it basically comes in like the 100 ml bottle. If you get like a 5 or 10 ml discount, 5 or 10 ml decant, this one would probably last you a while for many years. It's just like an occasional use fragrance in the cooler weather, mostly for like outdoor nighttime use. So let me get into some final scores. The smell, 6.5 out of 10. When you first smell this one, if you've never smelled oud before, you could easily give it a 1 or a 2. But since I've smelled like Christian Dior's Leather Oud and Tom Ford's Oud Wood, I'm starting to get more acclimated to the note and starting to appreciate it more for what it is, just a nice animalic wood note. Protection longevity, like most oud fragrances, very good. I'll give it 9 out of 10. I'm just using a little sample here, but yeah, I'm sure if you put on a full application, you wouldn't have to worry about people not smelling you. Uniqueness, I'm going to say 6 out of 10 because I don't think they really did anything much different here. The bergamot that they usually put in their fragrances, in this case, it just basically got swallowed up in the mix because the oud was too strong. So bergamot didn't really come through at all. And the rose. Some people do say that this fragrance has been reformulated, and that maybe the earlier versions of the fragrance had more of a rosy effect, and this one definitely doesn't smell rosy at all. It's more of that smoky, leathery, barnyard type oud. Versatility, 5 out of 10, mostly for cool weather. Save it for November, December, January, maybe February. After that, you might just want to put it back on the back shelf there for a while and try some other things. Price point, online, you can get this one for about $158, 100 ml at a discounter. I think retail is more like $200. So, yeah, if you're a fan of oud, you'll probably like it. If you're not a fan of oud, you'll probably think it's disgusting. But I think it's something that I would probably enjoy, mostly on a cold fall, winter day outside, or at night when I'm, in the cool air, more so than I'm inside the controlled environment air. So, check it out if you're a fan of oud. If you're not a fan of oud, probably avoid at all costs. So that's my thoughts on Indonesian oud from the house of Zegna. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.